We're live.
All right, let's see if this works. Welcome to Turbonomic Labs. This is a new. This is our very first quick test. We want to make sure that our streaming platform works. If you're jumping on now, of course, no one will have caught the first few seconds. But if you're watching this on demand, this is a new platform in which we can actually share great technology capabilities, and we really want to get deep into what we can do as practitioners and help our technology community. We should probably begin by who we are. My name is Eric Wright. If you don't already know this voice, I am the technology evangelist and also director of technical marketing here at Turbonomic. And what I wanted to do today was really just kick the tires on what we can do as a great way to stream out, because we want to share information about our technology partners. We've got some incredibly smart people who are working here with me at Turbo. It's a very rare treat where I get to actually go out, and we normally interact with a lot of folks in person. Unfortunately, with the situation around COVID and the lack of in-person events, for all the right reasons, we're sheltering in place. But sheltering in place also means that we are no longer able to really do great peer-to-peer education. This is the opportunity for us to change that game. And I know that quite often we're getting a bit of digital fatigue around events, and it's tough to really stay super focused. This is really meant to be supporting your ops and developer administrator brain. How can I make sure that I can bring content that's relative to you based on, stuff that you may want to watch? This will all be available on demand through our YouTube. We're going to stream on LinkedIn Live. We'll have some stuff that goes out on Twitter, aka Periscope. And in the meantime, if you have any ideas and you want to interact, of course, you can actually pop in and you can share some information live. Though I'm not actually seeing the comments at the moment because I get this neat thing. If I click on my browser screen, it does that, which is kind of cool. So you end up with this super infinite window. So I'll try not to do that, or if I have to, I'll stop sharing temporarily to be able to check out as we go. And I thought, no better way to start it off than with a bake off. So here you go, kids. This is it. I'm a big fan of Sublime text, and I know a lot of people out there like VS Code. I don't want to be the one kid that's left out of the party, so I thought I'm going to do a real quick comparison of my workflows with Sublime Text, my workflows with VS Code, why each has their own kind of neato capabilities, and really just a quick little bake off on features. So what I'm going to use is uh, a great example. So here's a live version. I've got a Ruby on Rails app that I'm building. I want to be able to do some coding. So I had some simple requirements. Number one, can it service my needs as far as language support, being able to do the context highlighting, etc. So I started with Sublime. First thing, right? So Sublime, we get an X in the column of ready to go from the command line. I actually had to build and create the shortcut in order to use Sublime. I think if you just do like SUBL, it'll work. So you just do Sublime. I'm going to do the directory because I want to get the whole directory because it's a Rails app. So now what I'm seeing is very easy, nice, scale out workflow. I can see all of my content. It's dark mode. That's right. Yay for dark mode. Whether that's your thing or not, I don't know. I'm ambivalent. I use dark mode mostly because I'll get shamed if I don't. But being able to go through, and because it recognizes automatically that this is Ruby, I didn't actually need to install any extra plugins or any other craziness. So it detects my Ruby automatically. Super cool. If I go through, and let's actually pick some code. So I'm going to go into a view, and all right, here's the default. So same thing, not just Ruby, but HTML supported out of the box. That doesn't seem like it's a big thing, but here's kind of a neat feature that I heart so much with my friends at Sublime. So if I'm typing in tag, so I'm going to say strong. Love this feature. Oops, helps if you can type, eh? That's why you do these things live and people now check this out. Oh, look at that. Auto completes. All I had to do was type in my trailing slash, and it recognized that there was an open tag, and it automatically completes my most recent tag. All right, so there you go. +1 for the Sublime kids. As they say, any technology that works so well looks sufficiently like magic. So there you go, a little bit of magic. The trick with this is that I use this and I've gotten so used to this workflow. Other simple little things that you can do automatic and oops, you can do automatic indenting, so you can indent in and out. So you don't have to argue about tabs versus spaces, which I know is probably the thing that will end every possible conversation you've ever had. Oh, I save that. Oh, look at that. Automatically notices something else is going on here. Oh, what are those little blue dots? That's right, kids. We're using Git. So this is actually an active Git repository, so it recognizes in my command line that I have a Git interaction. So if I were to just come in and open this project, sorry kids, I'm Canadian, project in process. If we open up the view, you can see just chase the blue dots, and that's it. It'll tell you right away that this is the file that's got to change since the last commit. So it's kind of neat. So if I actually just say git add that bad boy. I say git commit, add a message, new update. Okay, so I go back, whoop, blue dots are gone. Now it's recognized that I've actually committed that code so that I know it's live. This is very handy when you're messing around using Git as a version control. I'm sure there's other plugins for SVN and other such things, but Git's my kind of workflow of choice. So again, what were my requirements? Then we just this, how do we do a bake-off? Number one supports HTML. Number one supports some kind of auto completion and neatness. Also understands GitHub workflow, so make sure that I know what's going on. Pretty simple, right? So -1, I needed to create my own shortcut. +1, auto completion, wicked good in this. So I really appreciate the auto completion that you get with HTML. The other neat thing is if you run these like crazy, gnarly, huge, div views, and you've got like div, 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 and you want to back it out, all you do is just like you / until you're done. And it will actually end every active tag until you're out of active tags. So if you think you've got if your page looks a little weird, you can actually go in and check it out. And odds are you'll see that if you do an end /, you'll find there's an open div tag somewhere. Other feature as well, you can actually scrunch these down, so it's got a little twisty when you've got a code block that's an indent block. So it automatically recognizes and just takes that out, shows a little wee dot 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 thing. Zoom in, zoom out. If you're blind like me, you don't want to put these on because they really crush your head when you're wearing headphones. So you can actually just zoom in if you're an old person like me. It's not even that I'm old, just nearsighted. It happens to the best of us. Okay, so we've done our simple bake-off on one side. That's me, Sublime Text. Love it, big fan. And I always tell people, hey, I use Sublime, changed my mind. So here's the other catch. Sublime is a commercial product. I've got a lifetime, like I think you just buy it once, like 99 bucks or something like that, or 39. It's not onerous, the amount of pricing. However, you got to buy it. So it's up to you. Now, let's move over. Let's talk about VS Code. Let's see how the other half lives. Same story. It actually comes out of the box. So +1, you win on this one, VS Code. You actually have a live working command line. So you just say code dot, it automatically opens up. Little bit more colorful. Also dark mode, supports the dark mode. Everybody loves the dark mode. So we can see we've got dark mode. It actually shows you the different file types. So whenever it's HTML, of course, it recognizes, you'll see the little brackets. It shows JavaScript here for all those who I won't say love JavaScript. You just use it. No one loves it. If you do, God bless you. We've got Ruby files, so it's got the little Ruby. YAML files. It has no idea what these are. So these are, or maybe that's just a sign for YAML. I don't know. Again, if you're a fan of YAML, then you're an awful person. I'm sorry for your life. YAML, JSON, whatever it is, you do it because you have to. Now let's take a look at the exact same use case. So I want to pick, I've got my app. Let's dig in. I'll grab a view. We'll try this one here. So same thing. You can see it recognizes if I've got CSS, it recognizes it. It does context highlighting for Java. This is also a neat thing. It actually shows you it's a bit of a deeper integration. This is a plugin though. Plugin. So think about that. Do you want to install a bunch of plugins? Some people do. I don't, but I deployed the Git plugin. So it recognizes what was the last commit. You can actually drill in, get some neat things, picks to the messaging. Kind of cool. HTML recognized. As I mentioned, of course, it says Ruby, so it recognizes Ruby. Very nice, very clean. I'm going to use my typical thing. So I'm going to go in and say strong. Also love this feature in code. Oh no. Oh, code. That's -1. I hit my trailing slash and didn't automatically complete for me. So the problem I've got here is I actually have to remember to actually close out all my tags. So sadly, for me personally, it wasn't there. Here's the catch though. VS Code is a whole ton of plugins. So inevitably there's some neato plugin out there that helps you to solve that particular problem. I recommend you can give it a whirl, and maybe there's something that will help you. Now, there's the next piece is same thing. Remember we talked about indenting. So if you want to indent, it's going to be oops. Put the cursor in a spot that actually could indent. Oh, look at that. Oh no. Oh no. It doesn't indent automatically. There's got to be a trick. So, oh, there's another -1 for VS Code. That's mostly because I don't use it. So it doesn't use the same command sequence, which is funny. I thought it did. I used this the other day. But that's where things are at. Now, I've made my change. Let's save the file. And aha, there we go. So, of course, same kind of idea, right? You see there's a dot there, tells you something's going on. You chase the dots, and here's the modified indicator. So the modified indicator tells me that there's something going on. It says me, I've got uncommitted changes. Here's my working tree. If you're legitimately using GitHub like a proper developer, you may be using branches, shows you everything. Kind of cool. So you can actually do that stuff out of the box. Same story. Let's just say git add. Um, so I can clean that up. -M for message testing. Okay, so I go back to my VS Code. My little modified tag goes away, so it shows that we're good. If I hover, now it says working tree, so it knows that I'm in actual live session. So that's the very basic features. Next piece, VS Code, $0.00, kids. That's right, it's free. So I'm a huge fan of anything you can get that's free. It's actually totally open source. Oh, Sublime. Oh no, that's a -1. I love open source stuff. I don't think it's like automatically better because it's open source. However, generally the fact that it's open source is indicative of a way in which the creators of the platform want it to be run. Because remember, open source that only has one set of contributors, it's not an open community, it's just open source. Yeah, if I try to update and I say, "Oh, that's weird, my autocomplete doesn't work," and if somebody says, "Submit a PR, fix it yourself," that's the worst possible thing you can do to somebody who's trying to learn how to code. So I'm like kind of like hacking my way through all this stuff. I almost said a curse word there, folks. So if I'm actually hacking my way through this, then the last thing I want to do is suddenly be, although it's empowering, it's not really fair that you can kind of put the onus on every developer or every newcomer to the platform to make it better. Just by using it, I think is really, and broadcasting and sharing that you use it is one of the best things you can do. So there's really not much more out of the top level use case, right? Is I could do that A/B comparison, my basic workflow. Can I launch it from a command line? Perfect. Got it. Can it understand my GitHub versioning? All right. +1 on both sides. Does it cost money? Oh, 1 over here, 0 over here. 1 being free is actually not 0 in cost, but 0 in features for Sublime, because Sublime is a commercial product. There and it's infrequent in updates, so inevitably there's going to be more stuff. The VS Code is a huge community, so I'm kind of leaning towards it there. However, again, like Markdown, very easy to do in Sublime. It has the auto completion. It does good context checking, syntax checking. There's there's features. If I go in and I'm working in Ruby, or if I'm working in JSON, and you type stuff in, it automatically starts to look for, what can you do to create context for you. The physical layout of it in VS Code is a little bit more noisy because there's a lot of this stuff going on. Like there's hovers and there's a little bit of noise. You've got the timeline where it shows the GitHub integration, so it's a bit more. If you're running npm, if you're using any stuff there, if you've got node modules, it can actually kick them off. There's a bit more automation, so you can actually look. You can do some debugging. You can check out your source control. You can dig around a little bit more. So GitLens is the actual plugin that I've installed here in order to do that stuff. So that was really the basics of what I wanted to show. And I think about, if you are looking to do something where you have, let's just say, I want to be able to create some simple code, and I want to make sure that other people can help me to create that code. This is a great community. You don't get divided in the code as much as the platform. Are other people familiar with it? And if you're using VS Code and you've got VS Code plugins, it means that you can just automatically go out there and you can lean on the rest of the world to kind of do the things that you're looking to do. Now, the last piece is, again, like, how many times are you going to collaborate where it matters what you use? And I really don't want people to get stuck on this. We really get wrapped around the axle on these dogmatic things where if you use one or you use the other, then you're a good person or you're a bad person. It's actually not the case. I still accept you if you use VS Code, or if you use Sublime Text, or if you use Visual Notepad or VI or Vim or whatever it is. We don't want to get stuck on that. If I look at my comparisons on languages, same as, like, do I go Ruby? Do I go Python? There's a lot of camps that would say one versus the other is better or worse. Does it meet your use case? Bingo. For me, I own Sublime already, so I'm going to use it, and I like it. I like the autocomplete because I'm both lazy and I'm a bad coder. It means that I'm going to get solved, in places that I couldn't do it in VS Code or maybe with a plugin. I like that I can just blow my machine away. I could literally take this thing and then just close it, run a magnet over it, toss it in the garbage, get a brand new MacBook. I could deploy Sublime, and it's exactly how I want it to be by default. Two greatest words in the English language: default. Okay, it's actually not two words. But VS Code, I got to load it. I got to build in a bunch of plugins. I got to get to do customized things again, which is a little less what I personally want to do. So I recommend anything you can do that's default. Look, I'm not going to convert you. I really just want to do number one. Welcome to Turbonomic Labs. We've got some neat stuff coming up. I've got so many great folks who are able to contribute content. If you haven't already met, we've Jacob Ben David, who's also my colleague on the technical marketing team at Turbo. We're going to bring in, we've got Chris Parlett. Chris is a fantastic human, beyond being an incredible, just a giant of a gentleman. If you've met him at a show, he and I do some fun stuff around making sure we can get people in the booth. Incredible, smart gentleman, and also just he's got skills that are unmatched. So while I can fan a card deck with relative ease, he does stuff with a Rubik's Cube that will be mind blowing. And in fact, we're probably, just to make it fun, we'll include that as part of this. The last piece that I want to share is what is helpful to you. If I can do something for you that will help you, we're going to talk about some of the certification paths. We'll talk about different things. This was really meant just to say, is the platform working? And we are very happy that we have a way that we can share content. You can pull comments. So if you want to comment on the fly, you can do so either on YouTube or on LinkedIn Live, or when we're on Twitter, etc. And from there, you can get continuous feedback. This content will always be on demand, ungated, which is kind of fun. And we want to just go in and dig into technical use cases. Some of it's going to be around Turbonomic, some is going to be around Park My Cloud, some of it's going to be around Sev1. I've got a really cool new product that's coming out very soon, and you may get a little sneak peek. Wink, right? Lean in close, and you can get a sneak peek. You'll see some of the way that we work with Terraform, which I've done at some AWS events. There really is a lot that we can do. also it's just fun, right? I hope that if you look at it, and in fact, you get different views. You can see like this is the cool thing. You can check out. You can see behind me. Oh yeah, this is my. Oh, oh boy, that's heavy. I just want to share. This is the fun. This is how much I heart my job. I actually have a guitar that's labeled by Turbonomic. So if you go to a company and they make you love your job so much that you'll brand a guitar with it, it's a pretty darn good place. Also, whoa, check that out. It's actually thank you at VMiss33, my amazing wife. She got this signed by Pat Monahan, who's the lead singer of Train. So that's my official Turbonomic guitar, and in fact, I was lucky enough to play it at our company kickoff. So who knows? We may have some music when we get into fun at these events. So I hope that these types of things are enjoyable. We're going to host some of our online meetups as well. We host AWS meetups, Kubernetes meetups. We're going to move that to, we're already moving it online for the most part, but we want to open it up a bit more and see what else we can do to do some stuff with Ansible, some stuff with Terraform, AWS. We've got our Kubernetes folks. So we're going to feature Lemur, which is one of our open source projects for observability, and much, much more. So that's really much it for today. I hope that if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and keep an eye on what's going on. You'll get notified. Click that little bell icon, that bell icon that's down here somewhere or up there somewhere, and it'll actually notify you when we go live, because we're going to be doing this on a hopefully weekly basis. Who knows, maybe even more. And also shout out to JJ Asgar. If you haven't actually watched JJ do stuff online, he's a fantastic human, and he and I are going to do some stuff with the OpenShift IBM Cloud Pack, which we've been very lucky that we just signed an OEM agreement with IBM. But beyond that, I just love doing open source stuff with JJ because he's just such a great person to learn from. So we're actually going to be doing some more streaming, both on the IBM channel as well as here on the Turbo channel. So with that, stream away, my good friends. I hope that you enjoy this. We'll see you again. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified when this stuff comes up. Give us a like if you enjoyed this. Drop in a comment. You always have access to me, of course. I'm at Disco Pasta. You can find me on Twitter, on YouTube, on all over the place, on LinkedIn. With that, peace out. Thank you from Turbo.